Knitting Live weekend here in Chicago. It was 3 days of amazing, fabulous fiber fun, and all of my awesome knitwear peeps were in town, including this chica. This is my friend Jen Geigley, and she is here today at Nina Chicago, my local yarn shop, doing a book signing, and she is just so kind to sit down and chat with us for a little bit. So hi Jen, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. Okay, I'll just ask you first, how was your book signing today at Nina Chicago?
It was fantastic. That's the best part of doing anything like this, is meeting all the people, meeting all the knitters, hanging out with friends like you, and new friends and old friends alike. So this shop is fantastic.
It is super fun.
It's my favorite.
Yay!
Yeah.
It's definitely among my fave too.
Yes.
Can't deny. So I know you really well. We're friends, but a lot of people who don't know you. So I'll let you catch everyone up on your knitwear journey.
Yeah.
And how does your fiber story go?
It all began in 2008 when I learned how to knit from my friends. And I started messing around with patterns and writing my own things, and kind of, not even writing them down, but just trying my own things. And then in 2010, I did the Gap-tastic cowl on Ravelry. Because
okay, I have to stop you there.
Yes.
The Gap-tastic cowl, which is huge, 17,000 downloads now? 17,000 downloads. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, the Gap had a cowl that was sold out, and I wanted to make it, and I wrote it down. I made a pattern that looked pretty close, and then just kind of forgot about it, put it on Ravelry, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And then later on, my local yarn store owner was like, "Have you looked on Ravelry? Do you know what happened with that pattern?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "If you go to patterns, you can see it like went viral. It's #1 on the pattern downloads." And I was like, "What?" So I had no idea, and then over the years, it's just kind of become one of those popular cowl patterns on Ravelry.
It's a great beginner pattern.
Total mistake, but yeah, a happy accident.
A very happy accident.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of yarn shops suggest that for beginner pattern. It's
Right.
a great entry-level pattern.
If you want to learn how to knit and purl, you're going to do that forever for the Gap-tastic cowl. So it's great practice.
You will get it done.
Yeah.
And I love it because that kind of segued you into pattern design and writing. And how did that transition or that door opening happen for you?
Yeah, that just kind of gave me the confidence to put more things out there and write down more patterns that I was messing with. And then I eventually submitted to magazines like Vogue and Knit Simple and Rowan, and got published with them. So that kind of opened the doors. And then I realized I might want to do my own thing. So I kind of thought about self-publishing and thought about that forever until I finally kind of dove into that.
And the way you dove into it is so rad, because because I know you pushed yourself hard and gave yourself, as part of the 100-day challenge, you're going to write your first knitwear book.
Right.
Is that
Yes,
how it went?
that is.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so online, on Instagram actually is where I found it. It was the 100-day challenge, and there's tons and tons of different crafty people doing drawings for 100 days or writing something for 100 days. And so I thought this was going to be a good goal-setting thing for my first book. So I was going to do 100 days of writing a knitting book for my first book and see how far I could get with that. And I didn't get the whole thing done, and then I made my goal to be fall, get it done by fall. But in that 100 days, I got a huge chunk of that progress done, and the writing and the designs and the knitting. And so it was and then you share your progress photos on Instagram, on social media, and kind of keep a record of what you've done, and you get to look back at that and see other people's progress photos too. So it's a cool way to kind of approach things, I think.
I love that, and I think that what's really awesome there is that you set yourself the parameter instead of the limit. So for example, I want to do this much in 100 days, but that's not my limit. And so when the book wasn't done in 100 days, that just became the launch pad, as opposed to, all right, well, I didn't do it, those 100 days are up, what's next?
Give up, yeah, no.
Yeah, it was really, I think that says a lot about you, that you were like, okay, so now we go further.
Right.
We go past 100 days,
Sure.
and we just do it to fall.
Yeah, it doesn't have to, I didn't have to do it perfectly or, in their rules, yeah.
You made your own rules.
Right.
Which is what knitting's about. Make your own rules. That pattern's
break
just a
the
mess.
rules.
And break the rules. We love it. And that was weekend.
That was
Am I right?
weekend.
That was
Yep.
weekend. Okay.
That was the
Now
first book.
She's at a book signing, so we have all the
We have
books
all the
here.
books.
And that was weekend, which I own and I love.
Thank you.
And then next up was Every Day, which I believe this pattern is the one from Every Day.
Yep.
And so it's yours.
This.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
you guys.
that's
Okay,
Every Day.
we're going to talk about this in a
And
minute.
this, yeah.
So the next, we're jumping ahead, sorry. It's very exciting with all the chunky knits. The next pattern book was Every Day. And that's where this cowl came in, but also this amazing sweater vest that I can't stop wanting to make and to wear. So can we talk about your design shift from the patterns from Weekend to Every Day? Because you did have a design shift.
Yeah. So Weekend had a little bit of guy knits, a little bit of girl knits, a little bit of unisex knits that I put on both models, a girl and a guy that they could both wear, and then a few kid knits. So I did all that. And every project in Weekend is something you can make in a weekend, something, or if you're not experienced, or maybe, you know, in a week, you know, quick projects that are simple and modern. And then Every Day was just everyday comfortable women's wear. So that was kind of the shift for that.
And it was a shift. Like, I feel like your aesthetic stayed true to who you are, but opened up a little bit more design-wise.
I would agree with that.
Was that intentional, or is that just where you were led? How did that happen?
That was just kind of how I was feeling that year. Yeah, that like this collection was done. Now I'm going to kind of move into this stuff, like casual wear, but also like some legging type things and some tank tops and some different things. Some fun cowls.
Yeah.
All the chunkies, but there's more worsted weight and finer knits in that Everyday collection too for the girls.
Yeah, and we should talk about that because I call you the chunky queen.
Yeah.
Because she can do things with chunky knitwear that a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't know you could do that with a chunky knit. And I love that, but in Every Day, you didn't set the limit.
Sure.
It was just a parameter.
Right.
And then you went and you added in like the worsted and the other textures. What was that like trying all those new fibers?
Always fun. Always fun. I love all the fibers. I'm open to all that.
Do you have a favorite?
I still love the super bulky.
Just the super bulky wool.
But yeah, I love worsted too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just different flows, different drapes, and yeah.
I love that. And I love the fact that you won't just, even though I call you the chunky queen, you won't limit yourself to
Not always. Not all the time.
And then this year, okay, here's where Homegirl went crazy.
I did.
She's just bonkers. I love her. Homegirl went cray. Okay, so not one, but 2 books this year. Books were released. Visions and Visions Kids. And I want to talk to you about the awesomeness of Visions in a second, but first, Visions Kids. Because what I love about this is that the patterns are so great that beginners can make them. And is it true? Does your daughter let us make these?
She could, yeah, most of them, yeah. They're very approachable for a beginner knitter or a younger knitter who might want to wear it and knit it themselves. Easy cowls and chunky hats, and even this chunky sweater, which is super cute. Definitely approachable stuff that they can try. And then I took a lot of those a step further and I added bleach to some. I did ink and paint, and I dip dyed sweaters. Like this one is dip dyed. It was all gray, and then I dipped it this way into black dye and left part of it kind of an ombre, like a dip dyed look. So I did a lot of different experiments with these after I had knitted them.
I was gonna say, so it's completely knitted.
Yeah.
And then let me just make sure I understand the insanity here. You've completed the project.
Yeah.
But now let me just dip dye it and see what happens.
Yep.
And just, you know.
Yeah, or throw bleach.
Or throw bleach
on it. And which is really fun and fascinating to watch. And then in the back of the book, I explain all the bleaching and dyeing techniques if you choose to do them. You can just knit it and leave it alone too, but all the bleaching and dyeing techniques that I used is in the back.
In the book.
Yeah.
That's fantastic because I can tell you that without guidance, I wouldn't bleach a thing. No, I knit it. That took me forever.
True.
No bleach.
Right.
But I love that you're sharing the technique of how to achieve those looks and how to take those risks, but within, it's still a risk, but within some boundaries of some guidance.
Yes.
It's very helpful.
And we plan it on swatches first, so you're not ruining your finished project. Like I have a swatch of this sweater, then I'm going to dye first and make sure I like the results before you ruin your big, nice thing. So yeah, that's the key right there.
That is a key.
That's the secret.
That's the secret. Swatching is your friend.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of you guys out there don't like swatching. We've talked about this.
Time
Swatching.
you'll need to.
You need swatch. So, okay, and that was Visions Kids. And I also want to, because photo shoots are always a challenge.
Yeah.
And you did something really fun for Visions Kids that I think anyone who wants to do photo shoots with their kids should do.
Yes.
So can you tell us about it?
We just let them play and run wild.
We just let them play.
And my photographer is actually a nanny, and so she was cool with just letting this happen. And it was like a warehouse room, and so they actually skateboarded like around the room, and she was just like capturing it and hanging out. You know, they were very just kids hanging out. It's my daughter and my son and her friends from school, and so they are just buddies chilling out and wearing my knits.
And that's probably why it looks so good in the book, because it was truly they were just playing.
Having fun.
Having fun. It wasn't about modeling and posing in mom's knits.
No stress, like the moms weren't on top of this. We were all out of the room just like letting it go.
Yeah,
Which is
love
good.
that.
No pressure, you know, like no moms hovering.
That is so good.
That's the key.
That is the key. And then in Visions, you also did some of the splatter work also, and you stayed within the chunky, but you did the splatter work on, I don't know if you guys can see this up close, but you did the splatter work on the garments.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay with putting it on a hat. I feel like I could handle putting it on the scarf. I feel like when I make the sweater, we're finished.
But when you knit something with the intention of doing that later, you're kind of ready, like prepared for it, I think.
So you prepped your mindset to be ready for splatter painting.
This is going to be meant for this. This is a canvas for my paint and my splatters, and then it's like meant to be, and it's like you really can't screw it up when you're just really free-flowing with that, so.
Right, and I love that.
Breaking the rules, you know.
Breaking the rules.
Making some art, bringing art into your knitting and combining that whole thing.
Yes, bringing art. And you just teed up my next question, because I know that Stephen B. is a huge, I know he's a friend of yours, he's a friend of ours, but he's also a huge influence. In fact, you thanked him in the book.
Yes.
Can you tell us about, because I can see the art connection between you and Stephen.
Yes.
How's that relationship helped you?
Oh yeah, we are both huge art lovers, huge knitting lovers, obviously, but he's been a mentor, an inspiration in so many ways. He's just a generous guy who has helped support me through all these books, and we have good talks, and he just inspires me with like, what if you did something completely different, or what if you added this to that and just, you know, came up with something new and added, you know, I don't know. So I'm inspired by his boldness and his color choices, even with the black and white and the, you know, the bright and the bold that
You mean chartreuse?
Yeah, like this and like this. This is like Stephen B. Paradise, these colors. But yeah, he did inspire me to kind of just break the rules, do something different, and just give it a try for this book. So I did kind of, it was my experimental book.
I love that, because you were also able to take that relationship and that mentorship and that inspiration, but maintain your own voice and your own point of view. And I think that a lot of, you know, designers out there struggle with that balance of being inspired and maintaining their point of view.
Right.
How did you find that balance, or able to, you know, take that inspiration, especially from someone who has such a strong point of view of his own, and maintain your own?
Yeah, well, all my knits consistently are pretty modern and simple and, you know, kind of boxy, simple stitches, not too much color work and crazy, you know, laces and different techniques. But combining that with these art techniques, I think really worked and made it look like me, while bringing my love of art into the knitting, and, you know, and maybe not doing it to the yarn first, but doing it after, you know, just kind of trying some new things that I think it still came through as Jen.
I think so too. I think you did an amazing job of keeping it authentic.
Thank you.
And the last question that I have, it's not the last question. I just let her think that. It's not the last question. But what I want to ask you about is, because you've chosen to self-publish.
Yeah.
And you have had success, and even still continue to choose to self-publish. Is that ever just so scary, or, I mean, that's a risk.
Sure. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that process and that risk?
Sure. Well, part of it is because I'm a control freak. And I like to have my idea and collaborate with my beautiful photographer and pick my beautiful models, and I do it all in my hometown of Des Moines, Iowa. I do the graphic design, and I do the little illustrations for the schematics and all the things. So like, I love having that creative control over the look and the style and the knits and all of the stuff. So it is just something the first book was a total, like, let's just try this. It was just for fun to see what would happen. but it did really well. And then I wanted to do another one by the next year. You know, I didn't want to stop, and so then I did another one. And you know, with Visions and Visions Kids, I had enough kids things and adult things that I did want to
separate
split
it
into
into
two books
books.
and make it, you know, for people who just wanted it for kids, for people that just wanted it for themselves. So you can, you know, divide the two and still have a kind of collection. But yeah, self-publishing lets me make those crazy choices and kind of on my own time too, because life happens and life is busy, and these are kind of my own deadlines that are a little bit, you know, I can wiggle, there's some wiggle room there. But yeah, self-publishing allows me to do it my own way.
And that's an amazing thing to have, is that freedom to say, I'm going to do it within my own control, but also still take a risk.
Yes,
it's
totally.
not
it's
stay
totally
neutral to be safe.
It's super scary too.
I can't imagine hitting submit when it goes to print. I can't even imagine saying click send. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And yet you've done it 4 times.
Yeah.
And if I know you, you were already planning a 5th.
Probably, yes.
I'll get the details out of her off camera and tell you guys later. I know you well enough to know you're planning a 5th. But do you have anything coming up that you can share that we should be on the lookout for?
I don't even know. I mean, I might release some individual patterns, like as Ravelry things, or, you know, maybe a smaller collection. We'll see.
And speaking of individual patterns, let's just talk. Let's just talk a little bit about your most recent drop on Ravelry.
Right.
The gold medal hat.
Yes.
And I'm so much a fan of how you handled it, and I have so much respect for the process that you took in releasing that pattern. So can you tell us a little bit about the hat, the pattern, and the process?
So I, along with everybody else, was watching the Olympics, and we all freaked out simultaneously over Chloe Kim's gold medal, her hat from the snowboarding team. Everybody, I was like, I took a picture of my TV screen and put it on Instagram, and I saw other people doing the same thing. Like, did you see her hat? Did you see her hat?
We were literally watching the Olympics together on Instagram.
This hat.
Everybody.
Everybody's like, the hat, the hat, the hat. So the next day I wrote a pattern for the hat and ran to my local yarn store and got the right yarn and came home and made it, and then sent it out there. But then I realized, I remembered Ravelympics. There were some problems with Ravelympics because of the Olympics. You have to be super careful with the Olympics, or, you know, anything that has been made for that kind of stuff. So I actually emailed Burton, who had made their snowboarding collection for the Olympics, and said, is it okay if I release this pattern that looks super, you know, like your hat? You know, and they actually checked with their team and said it was okay, and so it was on Ravelry and it was all good, and so that was, and it's a free pattern, so I'm not, like, you know, profiting off of that, so yeah.
And how many downloads in 2 weeks?
It was like, I think it's 4,000 or 5,000. I haven't looked in a minute.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
People love that hat.
They do love that hat. But what I love is how you respected the process, which is where you had the inspiration, then you made the pattern and the design, you got the yarn, and then I was like, wait, gut check, let me just check in with Burton. And as a designer, I'm, you know, always aware of copyright and, you know, the laws and the rules. And a lot of people don't realize that you can just reach out to these companies.
Yeah.
And they have their information on their websites. Did you know anyone at Burton, or did you?
No, I just went on the website, and, you know, there's like contact us, and then there's like a copyright, there's like a whole bunch of different email addresses, and I found the right one, and then they checked with their team, and it was all, and yeah, I'm a huge Burton fan. I'm a snowboarder. I own, like, there's a Burton bag over there, that's my bag. Like, I love their stuff, so, like, I'm not gonna, you know,
Yeah.
I gotta respect that.
You have to respect that, and I think it's so important that you can take that step. It's just one email, and they answered you within a day.
Yeah, right away.
It was right away.
Like an hour, so.
Yeah, so take that step, reach out, because the good news is you can do what you want most of the time.
Right. You don't want to get in trouble, so.
You don't want to get in trouble.
It's good to ask.
And it's better to ask than to just hope to not get caught, is my point.
This is true also, yes.
Just ask. So I love that you did that, and as a designer, because I want people to respect my patterns, and you want people to respect your books, so I love that.
Totally.
Okay, so I can't let you leave without giving budding designer. We'll do a quick fire and a couple of quick tips. So first of all, what would be your top tip for a designer already who is afraid to take that leap to self-publish or to approach a magazine? What would be your one tip?
Go for it.
That's easy.
Go for it.
Just do it.
Yeah, don't be afraid. Yeah, I didn't know if I was qualified to submit to magazines, but I did. Or to put your pattern on Ravelry, just go for it. And there's people out there who will help you, even on Ravelry forums. There's test knitters who will help you. There's tech editors out there who will look over your things and check your math and make sure it's not all messed up. So yeah, just go for it. Publish a book, or put a collection on Ravelry of PDFs. Just go for it. Yeah,
Just go for it.
You can do it.
And what would be your one tip for someone who's afraid to try something new, like the splattering, or like trying a different fiber? Like someone who wants to get out of their comfort zone, besides just go for it. But is there a tip that you have about like try this technique, or try a device or something that you can recommend?
Yeah, I would just don't be afraid to break the rules, and I intended to put bleach on this, so I knew as I was knitting it that it wasn't going to stay plain black, and so when you're going, you're getting excited for that part of it.
So have it be part of your mindset going in.
Totally.
That's the tip. So have it go in knowing that just knitting it isn't
the final
ball. That's not the ball game.
Right.
That you're just teeing
that
it up.
helps.
And that mindset
it's just
helps.
a hat, and you really can't screw it up. I mean, when you're being silly
it's
like
really
this, you can
hat,
just
you
kind
guys.
of be like Jackson Pollock and throw it on.
Have your
How cute
own
is that?
Jackson Pollock party in your house. How
It's so
cute
cute.
is it? I
I'll
love
put on
this
the
hat.
other one. Totally.
Yeah, you put on the other one. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Okay, and then quick fire. I've got 3 questions for you.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Wood or metal needles?
Metal.
Okay. Crochet or no way? Metal!
Sorry.
We share a love of music, and so, sorry you guys.
And metal needles.
And metal needles. Crochet or no way?
Crochet a little bit.
Crochet
a little bit of crochet.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Would you mix your crochet with your knitting?
That is a great idea. Break the rules.
Break the rules!
Totally mix it up. That's cool.
Okay, and last question. I know your favorite fiber is the really super chunky Peruvian Highland wool, but what's your second choice? What's your fallback?
I love worsted. I love cottons.
Cotton.
I love.
I'm on a cotton kick.
Yeah.
I've been on a cotton kick lately.
And this is cotton denim, so yeah, that's like
cotton denim.
Fun. In different seasons, it works. I love it. I'm all about that. That's my second choice.
I'm all about that too.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Jen, because I can't even tell you how exciting and inspiring it was as a designer to be around you and get that energy and learn all of your process. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Wilger Bug. You're the best. We'll have a love fest over here. And thank you. If you guys had even half as much fun as we did, just like or comment below. If you have any questions for Jen, comment below. She and I will check it back in. And don't forget to subscribe to Stitch and Hustle so you never miss a stitch. And I will see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Bye.